Stun causes the Axie's next attack to miss, or the next incoming attack to miss its shield. But how does it work? I'm Axie Explained. Let's jump right in. Now, there are only 3 abilities in Axie Infinity that can apply stun. The first is an attacking reptile ability called Chomp. The other 2 are bug abilities and are a bit more defensive. The one is Anesthetic Bait and the other one is Sticky Goo. Now, stun is probably the strongest debuff in the game because it applies 2 main effects. 1. If an Axie is stunned and tries to use abilities, it will miss the first ability it tries to use to remove the stun effect. 2. If an Axie is stunned and is attacked first, the first attack while it is stunned will miss shield and directly attack the Axie's health or HP. With the defensive stun moves Anesthetic Bait and Sticky Goo, it is not 100% in your control when and how an Axie gets stunned. That's why Chomp is probably the more powerful stun move, as you can control that. The downside with Chomp is that you have to play it with at least 2 other cards in the same round to be able to apply the stun effect. Using stun correctly can really take your gameplay to the next level. So here is how. The first one is the basic way to use stun is you use stun with Chomp as the last ability in the combination, and that is done if an Axie is usually on high health and you just want to stop them from doing their first move. At the beginning of the game you might want to try and stop a plant from using Sirius, although that is not the best. You want to try and hold it for a critical time in the game when you know that an Axie is going to play a big move like Spike Throw, which allows them to reprioritize their target, or if they're going in for a big damage round, taking out one whole ability that does 120 damage can be a big game changer. Number 2 is to use stun to deal more damage to highly shielded Axies, and the way you do this is by using stun or the ability Chomp first in the combination of moves, followed by a very high damage move, like in this example here. So what happens is the first ability Chomp attacks the shield but then applies stun to the Axie. The next move then attacks the HP directly. This is a small difference you can make, but this can be the difference between a win or a loss in the long term, as I'll show you in the next example. Number 3, applying double stun for even more damage through a shield. So this combination works the same as the previous example, except you use Chomp, Chomp, and then a big damage ability. So what does this do? The first ability yet again applies stun but attacks the shield. The next ability, which is Chomp again, attacks through the shield but still applies stun, so the Axie is still stunned. And then the third move, the big move, also attacks the HP directly through the shield. This is a great way to finish off Axies that are about 200 HP, 223 HP, and can make a big difference in the game if you use it correctly. Now, how to counter when playing against an opponent that uses stun. The first way, if there is a chance that your Axie will get stunned by the opponent's Axie before it's your chance to move, try and start your move combination with that Axie with either a 0 cost card or a card that does the least amount of damage or the least amount of effect that you want to do. That card will then be used to get out of the stun, and then you can use the rest of your abilities. The second way to counter the powerful stun moves is not to use a lot of high shield abilities or a lot of moves on Axies that are on low HP or relatively low HP and already stunned. And the reason for this is because the next move, if they have an Axie that is faster, will definitely kill you. So don't make the noob mistake of putting a lot of moves on a low HP stunned Axie. Like in this example here, my opponent ignores putting any moves on it because he knows that Axie will die. Also, if you think your opponent has a double stun and a high attacking ability waiting for you and your Axie is on 240 HP, maybe not invest as many moves in that Axie, because you most probably will die if you're playing against a good player that knows how to use stun. I hope you were as stunned as I was at this beautiful debuff. Axie Explained, out.